There's this call to the starting line, and there's Newhall. We saw Kinetic a little bit earlier. Yankton Cross Country Club out of South Dakota, one of our four-time NTN qualifiers. And of course, they have one young lady, number 374, Kristen Stern-Hagen. 36th last year. She was 69th in 2005, and she's the only athlete who has run all four Nike Team Nationals.
You know what that means, right, Tony? A lot of Nike gear at her household.
And we are off. The girls' competition is now on the course. And I know that the top club, once again, Manlius Cross Country, Burnt Hills, the fireworks displays going off. It'll be interesting to see who decides to go to the front. Newhall is in the blue top, Manlius in the green with the orange piping to it. Burnt Hills is in like the white vest with the purple background, like a cardinal background.
Manlius Cross Country are defending champions.
And again, we have never had a defending champion come back 2 years in a row. Now, of course, we haven't had many of the samples. We've only had 3, but that's the thing. You have to qualify just to get here. For instance, like the boys, Coatesville, Pennsylvania did not make the return trip this year after being the champions in 2006.
Right. The other point, Tony, also is in year one, the favorites did win. It was Elmhurst and it was Kinetic. After that, the favorites have not fared well because, once again, everybody's raising their game, and it gets very competitive at the top end nationally.
You know, this is exactly what happened at NCAA basketball level. We used to have things like Kentucky and Kansas, of course, UCLA. You had these dominant programs to get all the top kids. And then when they finally started spreading that talent out a little bit, now you don't have any dominant teams. And events like this has completely, it's like even the playing field.
Very much. When you go ahead and you put the NCAA tournament on a national level, and it's really exploded in terms of exposure, it really makes it much easier for these coaches at the collegiate level to go ahead and motivate their teams and recruit and what have you. The same thing is now beginning to happen at the high school level in terms of basically the carrot for these runners. The coaches have that carrot now to try and get these teams to really sacrifice during the summertime, put their training in, and with the reward being a berth here in Portland for the Nike Team Nationals.
Well, we can say that certainly the individual favorites in this race have to be names like Katie Flood out of Iowa and Samantha Recker out of Burnt Hills Track Club, and Hannah Davidson, who was on that Kinetic team as a freshman back in 2004. She's a senior now, and she was one of the ones that decided that she didn't want to go to the Foot Locker Nationals as an individual. She'd rather try to make her team fare well here at the Nike Team Nationals in Portland.
And coming through as they come right by our stand here, we have Manlius right off the bat with 3 in the top 10. And keep in mind, Manlius, they interchange quite a bit in their top position, so their depth up top is just very, very impressive.
243 is Katie Flood. You want to look for her out of the Des Moines Cross Country. But Manlius actually, Rich, does not have that dominant single runner. They just have an unbelievably close spread.
Right, that's the problem, is in a sense, if most of their teams, if you have a kid that's off, that really costs you as far as your team scoring. Manlius, they can afford to have one kid off or 2 kids off, and they don't lose a beat. That's what makes them so tough. And now we see our 1K scores here come up on the screen. And Manlius, you see that they've got a big lead. Looks like an advantage here of 85 points over Kinetic. So New York going 1-2. You see teams from the Northeast going 4-5 here, and the California team, Newhall, in 3rd.
Right, that's again an enormous score. We can tell you that back in 2004, when they had 4 Foot Locker finalists on their team, Kinetic scored 51 points and won by 76 points. That's the most dominant single-gender performance in the history of NTN. No one else has broken 100. I think one other team has gone. Hilton had a 98-point victory. They scored 98 points in 2005, but they were an upset winner that particular year.
It was a mild upset that particular year. They were definitely in the running for that top spot. Obviously, the standard in the sport has been Kinetic, especially in year 1. That was considered the best girls team in high school cross-country history. And now we've got a team that's very strong in Manlius, probably not at quite that same level, although we'll see today how they hold up and if they're able to actually dominate this field. Manlius is very strong, arguably at least 2nd best in the history of New York, and we'll see how they hold up nationally all time as well.
Well, Katie Flood, number 243, in the lead. Number 284, right with her from Connecticut. from Kinetic, rather. That's Hannah Davidson. She's their top runner. And of course, she's been with that Kinetic program for 4 years and was on the national championship team as a freshman, so she's got great memories.
We've seen that the Carroll team out of Texas coming in at 7th at the K. It'll be interesting to see how they move up. You know, they're one of the teams that have qualified 3 times. They were 3rd here last year. We'll see as we get the 2 and 3K, 4K splits. We'll see if they kind of move up the board.
Just like the boys race, teams in 6 through 10 on the girls' side are very close together, especially 7 through 10. You see them separated by only 15 points.
Yeah, Dana Point, again, we expect from California to do very well.
It'd be Newhall, actually.
Newhall, rather.
I mean, currently they sit in 3rd place.
And we also expect, I mean, how's the Anaheim cross country compare?
Actually, they're one of the teams that the coach took a full advantage of this new regional format. At some of the major meets in mid-season, they actually avoided the marquee races, wanted to save their legs for the end. They happen to compete in a very tough league as well, so they really needed to play their cards just right.
To show how strong the New York region is, they've been teased out of the Northeast region this year. They have their own region. They both ran, the Northeast region and the New York region, both ran Bowdoin State Park, Wappinger Falls, New York in the regional championship, one before the other. And yet on that same course, on that same day, the three New York teams all ran faster times than the Northeast region champions.
And the Northeast region is very strong this year, but once again, an indication New York is just, in my opinion, by far the best region in the country in terms of strength year in and year out. These girls are very, very tough. And of course, when you have a lot of strong teams in your vicinity, in your backyard to go against week in and week out, if you wish to, the competition is there. So it helps raise the bar for these teams.
Well, we just saw number 299, Mackenzie Carter out of Manlius cross country. And there's there's the 1K results, 59-144, so a huge lead for Manlius over Kinetic. So these girls are used to racing against one another all season long. It's a friendly rivalry as well. I mean, they have a lot of respect for one another's programs.
It may be a friendly rivalry, but it was very interesting to note this week, since as soon as the teams arrived on campus, Manlius, you could tell they had their game face on. They were very, very serious. When we saw the conditions here, not so good course-wise in terms of weather, Bill Ayers from Manlius basically said, hey, the worse it is, the sloppier it is, the better it is for us.
Well, now we go back in the pack.
And once again, Tony, as we're about 7 minutes into this race now, we've got that wind picking up again, so it's very cold, and now we have a bit of a crosswind for these runners as they make their way through the Portland Meadows course.
Rose City Cross Country wearing numbers 313 through 319. Lucy Whips, their top runner. She was 9th at the regionals, but again, they were the regional champions without having a top runner, which means they had a very nice spread once again.
And now we're beginning to get some split scores here as we come along. We'll have to wait and see once we get number 5 coming in from a few teams.
Courtney Chapman, number 300, just a freshman out of Manlius. So she's running very comfortably. I mean, she's a very easy way about her.
Yeah, she looks great to me. I'm really impressed at this point in the race. You know, we're coming up on halfway, and she looks really smooth at this point.
And now we have Saratoga Kinetic Running Club now moving up into the top 5, currently in 4th, closing the gap on number 3, Newhall of California. Manlius now with an 81-point advantage over Hanover from the Northeast region.
Number 222 is Sam Recker, one of the overall favorites in the competition, Bird Hills Cross Country, New York region champion.
Right, also interesting to note, currently in 5th, that's Caution Cross Country Club out of Alabama, moving up very well. They actually had a bit of a problem with injuries and sickness down the stretch, gained a berth here as an at-large, and now you see him in the top 5.
And that's a testament, again, to the Southeast raising their game more than anybody else. They had the biggest margin to overcome, I think, and I think they've done it.
They really have.
Motivated.
Very much so. And also, the one thing about the NTN format here, the NTN meet, is initially in year 1, the Southeast seemed to lag a bit behind other parts of the country in terms of performance level. What's happened during this NTN era, we've seen a lot of great teams develop in states that definitely weren't known as strong states. States like Georgia, Alabama, teams really coming up and now closing the gap on other powerhouses around the country.
Well, we still have Manlius with 57 points. This is, historic sort of scoring right now. Again, people have tried to compare them a little bit with the 2004 Kinetic team, which had those 4 Foot Locker finalists and maybe the finest girls high school cross-country club in history, and they get maybe not quite at that level, but people are talking about them in the same vein.
You know, and you really need to make that comparison because Manlius is just an incredible crew. I mean, all respect to Kinetic from that 1 year, a few years back, but Manlius has just put together a monster season. The squads from New York are stronger than ever, and they're still dominating. So it's just a testament to how good they are as well. So they definitely warrant a comparison against that Kinetic crew that was so legendary from 2003.
Well, you know, these teams are not living at altitude, certainly, and yet it's got to be a testament to the program and the coaches.
Without a doubt, if you see a team year in and year out running well, it shows that the coaches know what they're doing, that they're preparing the kids properly.
Well, the girls seem to be handling these hay bales. You know, over the past few years, we have seen kids taking dives. And last year, of course, the Elmhurst Boys Club, which was a top 5 contender, they all went down like dominoes almost in the first 400 meters and were never contenders. I haven't really seen, maybe I haven't been looking that closely, but I think I have. You just have not seen the spills this year.
Right. Actually, in between interviews, we went down to the course, checked it out a little bit. The course is choppy in some areas, still very good in other areas, but no reports yet of any massive spills on any parts of the course from any sections of the field. So far, these kids are actually handling these conditions quite well.
Well, we can see that, you know, Katie Flood still in the lead individually. With her, though, is Georgia Griffin out of Hanover.
Madeline Morgan's up there, too, as well, the NTN regional champion out of Caution Cross Country Club.
Right, exactly.
And it looks like if we're seeing this right, the number 5 girl from Manlius currently, she actually has a bit of a gap behind her. So right now, they're not in threat of losing any points at number 5, which is usually the key position. Although it did look like at 3 and 4, there was a gap that was a group of runners closing on their 3-4. So we'll see how things play out here in these final 3 kilometers.
Well, where's the real strength of that program? Is it 4 and 5 or is it 2, 3 and 4?
They have 5 number 1s, Tony. That's what it comes down to.
So on any given day, so they're not. If one thing goes wrong, they've got backup.
They have plenty of backup. They have more backup than anyone else on the field. One team that should be very dangerous as a dark horse here actually is Westfield of Indiana. They have most of their group back from a year ago. Actually, through 4 scores, they were as high as 3rd place going that last kilometer. Most of that group is back, and keep in mind they actually lost at the regional championship meet, so they're coming in with a bit of a chip on their shoulder, as well as plenty of experience, plenty of talent. So they're a team to keep an eye on, especially down the stretch in this race. Battle tested for sure. And now we see our scores coming through. We've got 2 scores currently. We'll see how this changes once we have 5th runners come in. Currently 1-2, Manlius of New York and Newhall of California. And you see the margin there, 108 points between those 2 teams.
Well, we've seen only a slight slippage on Manlius. They started off at 57, went to 59, now they're at 62. So, you know, very, very solid.
And you see also Kinetic. They went from off the charts to 5th, and now they're in 3rd, trying to move up, and 2 points only behind Newhall of California.
Yeah, and Hanover is still right into the mix, too, at 181 points. They're 11 points out of 2nd place.
As well as Caution. That's Mountain Brook High School runners from Alabama competing for Caution Cross Country Club on remaining in that top 5.
And that's an at-large team.
That is an at-large team. Once again, they had that prom at the regional meet when they were shorthanded.
Well, interestingly, when we take a look at our at-large entrants, it's Kinetic, it's Hanover, and it's Caution. 3 at-large teams are in the top 4 in the girls' championship.
In the new format that we have set up, in a sense, it's also a bit of a safety net on this point system on the at-large. It's a safety net for those powerful teams that may have had a prom at the end. So if you don't, basically in the new format, you have to show it at the end. And if you didn't show it at your regional championship, you better have shown it in a major meet against major competition somewhere. But that's the only way to ensure the top teams are here.
Well, with this spread for teams 2, 3, and 4 coming down the stretch, this is every point's going to matter, every place. These coaches, you know, the coaches are going to be running around like a bunch of maniacs yelling up in these kids' faces because, you know, you coming across the line the last 100 meters, every place will matter.
Well, Kinetic is in the beige top, and we know Newhall is in the blue top. And Caution Cross Country is running in a sort of orange, green, and white top. Or apple green, actually, if you look at the official top.
So if I caught that right really quick on our monitor here, looks like 5 of the top 7 teams all hail from that northeast/New York part of the country. So once again, they continue their dominance here.
It's the East Africa of the United States girls cross country. Well, there it is, Hanover 181, Caution 207. There's Burnt Hills. A little surprised at Burnt Hills at 233, back in 6th place.
Not really, no. I mean, in top 6, and you see teams 2 through 6 aren't separated by a great deal. Still plenty of real estate left, so we'll see how things shake out.
Well, the regional champion from Caution, that's Madeline Morgan is still giving Katie Flood all she wants in the individual competition. And Griffin from Hanover, followed by Hannah Davidson and Sam Recker from Burnt Hills.
And now we begin to have a little bit of snow begin to trickle down again. Once again on these runners, a bit of a wind as well. Currently at their backs, but pretty soon they'll be running right into that, right into their face.
Right into the teeth of that. It's a tough day, but I still think it's better than the last 2 years.
I do agree. I do definitely agree.
Maybe not for the spectators when you're standing there, but when you're out there running, it's not quite as bad as it might seem.
There's another kinetic runner, number 285. That's Cassie Kudo. She's only a sophomore, but she's been very important to them all year long. They were the NTN champions in 2004, NTN runners-up in 2005. #1 team in New York State 16 times in the last 19 years.
And actually, if you think about it, to be on the NTN podium, if this holds up 3 times in 4 years, and actually they were a very controversial exclusion from last year's NTN meet, so definitely here to make a statement and hopefully try and pull off a big upset. They're one team that really, with their tradition, their talent, their coaching, is capable of pulling off an upset up in Manlius.
Well, you know, the kinetic team trains all year long.
I'm sorry?
I mean, that's a year-round, they train all year long. I mean, on their own. I mean, these girls are motivated.
They're motivated, they're very disciplined, they're very focused. They're just a great group when the chips are down. Now it's like we're about to get our...
Well, there's a kinetic runner. It's hard to see the bib number right there, and that looks like a... And that looks like a Newhall, number 313. Let me find my number 313 now.
Coming up here on the 4K split.
Well, right now, we seem to have a bit of a break. For the first time,
Madeline Morgan's opening up.
Morgan is opening up on Katie Flood. A little bit of sidearm swing, heads bobbing just a little bit. I haven't seen her run enough to know if that's her style or not, or if she's showing some signs of fatigue.
Now, Morgan is the one girl that was missing for their roster at the state meet when they actually still dominated at the Alabama State meet. They had her back last week for the regional championship meet. She actually was their top runner, but they were still on the mend. But because of their resume, they're at large points. They got a berth coming in as far as they're on the point system, and they're showing their worth today for sure.
Powerful use of the arms, Alan. You can see she's really charges when she needs it. She's only a junior too, so she's still growing in strength.
And one thing I noticed, she wasn't necessarily running the closest tangent, which I think in a course like this where it's your line and stick to it, you don't necessarily run the shortest possible route.
Well, that's the thing. You always think the other girl is running in a better slot.
Right.
You always want to get. The minute you get over there, you say, "No, I want my whole place back."
And once again, that wind picking up. And here we go now, coming across on our scores. I believe this will now be through 4K, and Manly is a 106-point edge over Newhall,
who only has 3 points. Kinetic only 3 points back. Hanover another 8 back, so it's still up for grabs for second position. It looks like Manly has just come to the fore and really dominated as the favorite, and it looks like they're going to be our first defending champion here at the Nike Team Nationals.
And the one thing to keep in mind also, Tony, if in fact they do successfully defend, 6 of their top 7 are back next year.
Well, barring a disaster, I think that them defending is pretty much guaranteed at this point with that type of a lead.
Well, I think I'm really impressed by Newhall Cross Country from California, not used to conditions like this. You know, we've had tough times for the California kids over here. There's great programs, but having visited some of these programs and going to Mount Sac and places like that, it's almost road racing. It's such hard packed ground on which they run.
Last year, Newhall was a very strong team from California, and unfortunately, on the week of NTN on Tuesday, they had a flu bug that spread around the team. They arrived here on Thursday, and you could tell this team was not going to be on their A game. They wanted to come back this year and make a big statement, and they've blown away the Mount Sac course record. They took down last week the California State meet record. They're here on a mission.
Well, here we come to the finish line.
Madeline Morgan finishing up. Unofficially 18:54, it looks like.
Right at 18:55. Katie Flood in second place. I know Hannah Davidson is in fourth, looking for that third place finisher. Sam Recker from Burnt Hills in third place. There's Sam right there. She was a regional champion. There's our first Newhall runner. Boy, a lean at the line.
Two just came in from Manlius right there. Here's another Manlius runner just about to cross the finish as well.
Yeah, this is where they're killers. All their three. 299, that was Mackenzie Carter. She was fourth at the regional. She's on top 10 here at the Nationals.
And there you can run down the top 10 already. Morgan had a caution, Flood.
Newhall, well, we just saw it. There's another Manlius runner, 302, Molly Malone, 11th at the regional. Here's Newhall coming across the, nope, Newhall looking for in the blue top. I think we have a Newhall runner coming in right now. That's caution. Here's a Kinetic. Kinetic, it looks like, that was looked like it was, hopefully it was number 285. Yes, that was Cassie Gudros, number 285. And you know, the girls are not as wiped out as the boys.
Girls cross country nationally is an all-time high. Obviously, they had a late start compared to the boys historically, but these girls programs are just running phenomenal on these historic courses over the past few years. This year, they are off the charts team-wise. These performances that these teams are throwing down.
Dana Jameson, we just saw storming to the line from Sudbury. And you can see that Manlius 46 through 4 runners. Right, this is again. They're not going to get that 51-point record that we saw Kinetic run in 2004, but it looks like the second best women's performance here at the Nike Team Nationals in 4 years.
With all due respect, this is a phenomenal team, just like that team from Saratoga, Kinetic Running Club. Team-wise, just dominant, and I would say as excellent individually as Kinetic was. Keep in mind, right now, nationally, the strength of girls' teams is even higher than a few years ago.
Therefore, this performance in that context may even be better. Still waiting. Hanover's got 3 runners across. Newhall's got 3 runners across. Kinetic's got 3 runners across. So that was really the fight for the second place on the podium. Manlius with 83 points has come home. First in 5. They've got 5 in before any other team's got 4 in, and it's 83 points. The second best scoring ever here at Nike Team Nationals.
Now that scoring is not only unofficial, but we have to wait for scores from these other teams to come in to see if that was
right. These are all unofficials that just we're tabulating ourselves as they're coming across the line.
Manlius running away from the first K all the way through.
But we're expecting a good performance by Wicked Cross Country. They're out of Lincoln, Sudbury, Massachusetts, and from all my years in Boston, I can tell you, this is New England weather.
So once again, Tony, coming in, we feel it was New York, the Northeast, and that one team from California. That's exactly how it played out. And kudos to that one team, Newhall, that showed up very well in these horrible conditions. But Northeast and New York just really making another statement once again as to where the class, where the power, where the strength is in America as far as high school running.
Well, I think we're seeing that those at-large bids were really important this year. It shows that you can't just boil it. It's hard in some regions to just boil it down to 2 teams. So you need to have that kind of backup plan, and I think that showed.
With this format, with a change in the point system on the at-large and also the dates when the bids are announced, we feel as a committee by far this is the best group of 8 bids, 4 boys and 4 girls that we've had in the 4-year history of NTN. In past years, we had to go ahead and award from the earlier regions. This year works out quite well.
269, Jessica Schomburg out of Hunterton, cross country. And right now, Chris Zielinski's down with one of our teams. Chris?
Hey, Tony. I'm here with Katie Flood. She was the second placer for the Des Moines team. And you also qualified last weekend for the Foot Locker Championships. But first of all, with the snow falling down now and a lot of the mud and the hay bales and the whoop-de-doos, what did you think of the course?
It was a good course. It was tough. The mud was probably the worst part. And then also, I didn't really like the hay bales. But it was a good course. It was hard.
So you're looking forward to a little bit drier and warmer conditions next weekend?
Yeah, hopefully. But this isn't too bad because this is what it's like in Iowa. So.
Perfect. Well, nice job, and congratulations to you and your team.
Thanks.
Back to you guys.
It was a great course. I hated the hay bales. I didn't like the whoop-de-doos and the mud side.
Other than that, I loved it.
No, I mean, this is as challenge. Oh, we're on camera. Hi, kids. How you doing? This is as challenging as it gets. And now we have to wait because in our hearts, we think that Manlius has won this title on the women's side, and we are still waiting for the results on the boys' side as well. So it's sort of wide open. Not quite as wide open on the women's side, of course, but that second place competition was very stern, very testing, and right now Lauren's down with somebody from the Caution Running Club.
I've got a #1 finisher in the race today, Madeline Morgan here, with a great breakaway at around 3.5K or 4K. What do you tell me about that move you made?
Well, I just noticed for the whole race I was just planning on drafting off whoever was up in the front, trying to stay on that pack. And I noticed the pace just kind of started slowing down, and I was like, hey, I have energy. I'm just gonna go for it and just see how it goes, and it worked out.
Yeah, I heard you say that you were coming in here with aspirations of finishing top 10.
Top 10. I had no idea what to expect just because we've never raced any of these people before in Alabama. So
yeah, I bet. So what was it like as far as the conditions, what you're used to?
Completely different. We haven't seen snow since I was maybe like 7 years old. And so we got out here and it was freezing, and we've never run in Under Armour before. We had no idea what to expect, but we love mud. We love the mud, so I was really excited about that.
All right, well, congratulations. Great job out there. Back to you, Tony.
Well, Rich, how do you explain it? I mean, except for the mud, I mean, never run against this competition, never run against this cold weather and the snow, and she ran away with it.
You know, the mindset coming in for an event like this is something that's so key for an athlete, especially at this high level. And you see a wide range of behaviors in the 2 days before this race. You see some kids that are very nervous. You see some kids very focused. You see some kids that have no focus at all. It's very interesting, the wide range. Sometimes not thinking too much about the race. Athletes seem to overthink. Sometimes coming in a little bit relaxed leads to a very nice performance on a big stage here.
I don't know how I'm going to do it, just leave it at that. And now Lauren's down with the Kinetic team.
I'm here with Kinetic Cross Country team. We got lots of hugs, a lot of emotions going on here. What's going on in your guys' minds here? What's going on?
I just really hope that we came in first. So yeah, well, second, whatever. It's only good.
So I see a lot of hugs and got little tears over here. What's going on? How are you feeling?
Good.
I saw that the team score looked really tight up on that board. There were about 2 or 3 points separating second, third, fourth, fifth. And could you hear the announcement during the race of how you guys were doing?
Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of scary, like being up front and not knowing like what the rest of your team's doing, but I was happy.
Yeah. What about, sorry?
I heard at one point that FM had like 70 and we had 80 something. So that like really, I just got a huge surge after that.
I bet you guys get a lot of energy from each other. Any of you running together during the race?
In the start, Megan was with me, and I convinced her to stay with me, and I saw Amanda during the race a couple of times, so we all stayed together and tried like the best we can to like work together.
Well, that last kilometer of working together is going to be what pays off. So anyway, enjoy the suspense, enjoy each other's company, and I wish you guys the best of luck.
Thank
Good job. Back to you.
Thanks, Lauren. Alan, has it snowed in Boulder yet?
It has. It has, unfortunately. Hey, it was nice to see a Fort Collins team, like Colorado represented out here. That was nice to see, so congrats to them.
Look at the happy faces. I know it hasn't snowed in Orange County. I know it hasn't snowed in San Diego, but it's great. We couldn't ask for better conditions. There's something about the inclement weather. There's something about the difficult conditions which brings out the best in cross country. That's why we do cross country. It's not that pristine track, and it's not just the roads.
Right. I mean, obviously, there are a lot of different types of courses around the country. You really can't separate some of the best teams on a flat course. It takes a challenging course like this, whether it be hilly, muddy, to separate the champions from those that are maybe just a cut below at this point in time. But this course right now has served its purpose well, and you know the cream of the crop has tended to rise under pressure and adversity here.
Now, we expect more from the Southeast after we've seen the performance of that one caution runner winning. Madeline winning the race today, actually winning. What do you think that'll sort of supercharge the competitors down there?
Well, we didn't mention the fact that Southeast has raised its game a bit in recent years since the advent of NTN, but also now with the regional championships all around the country, that's going to really, in a sense, wake up things in each of these 50 states in terms of creating more development at the teenage level with these runners across the country.
All right, great. Now, Chris Olinsky down with the Manlius team. Chris.
Tony, I'm here with the Manlius team, the team, obviously the team champs. You guys dominated the whole way. You clearly had it, head and shoulders above everyone else. I think you had your all 7 runners in before anyone else's 5th, so that's a pretty dominating performance. you guys pretty much epitomize the Nike slogan, "Every teammate counts," where you guys have 5 number ones on the team. Just tell me a little bit about the strategy and the course.
I guess you could say our strategy was to do what we usually do and take it out and try to maintain our lead as best we could. So that's pretty much what it was, to take it out pretty hard.
So you guys are from the Northeast, so these conditions are right at home, huh? Do you like the snow, the mud?
Excited when it started snowing. We were like, oh, it's like back home. So we were pretty excited about the mud and the snow.
Well, great. It's awesome that you guys could come together as a team. This is in high school. That's exactly what you want to do, is come together as a team and win a team title. And tell me what it feels like to be with all the girls here and win it together.
I think it felt so good, and I think the most important thing is that we all worked so hard together and that we really achieved excellence. And then after that, we were just so excited to win. So. Yeah.
Great. Well, congratulations. I'm here with the coach, and just tell me what the coach is. Tell me what the strategy was, and did you guys stick to the plan? And was the plan to get out strong and hold it in the mud?
That's exactly what it was. Our plan was carried out to perfection today. It was a significantly different plan from last year, but the nature of the team created that opportunity for us to explore, and we did so today. And we worked with what the course would give us, and we accepted what the course wouldn't give us, and made the most of it.
Well, that's a gutsy way to run, and you guys pulled it off. First back-to-back champs, and congratulations, guys. Great.
Thank you very much.
Back to you guys.
Thanks, Chris. Guys, do you think there's any, as events like this change the training? Are kids training harder? They're training more now than they did, Alan, when you were growing up?
Without a doubt. I mean, that goes without saying, with the invention of what all the things that we're talking about, the fact that we're doing a webcast right now. When I was in high school, I didn't even know that there was other kids. All I was thinking about was my state meet. And so, the fact that these kids are actually training year-round, that's these are part of the strides that we were talking about earlier with some of the Nike athletes, that it's just raising the bar, and we're going to see the fruits of that down the road.
Lauren's right now with the Caution team from Birmingham, Alabama.
All right, I'm here with Caution Cross Country Club, and they've got some really great energy in this group here. What's going on with the headbands?
Caution! Started a couple years ago and just continued on. It's a team inside joke, keeps us going. We love it.
That's good. It becomes you. It's very nice. Another thing I just wanted to point out with the Caution team here is the way they prepared their shoes. And can someone tell me what you got going on here?
We caution tape our shoelaces so the shoes wouldn't fall off.
Tape.
Oh, duct tape. Oh my gosh.
We wish it was caution tape.
Yeah, really.
Hey, you can call it whatever you want.
Well, we were warned that the mud is really, deep and everything. We don't want our shoes to fall off.
And then Fred Ham on the bottom of our shoes to keep the mud off.
And we put Vaseline all over our face and legs.
So is it about running, or is it about all the preparation here? It sounds like
it's both. It's all of it.
Good. Well, you guys are having fun. That's the most important thing. So yeah, keep it up, and I hope you guys are having a really good time. Stay warm.
Rich, talk about the support that the parents and the family and friends. There's a ton of people that make the trip out here to Portland from all over the nation.
Oh, it's great. And in a sense, in something like cross country where it requires self-discipline to excel, that self-discipline carries over to the home as well. So you need to have that support structure from the parents, from the family, to keep you going, keep you motivated, keep you in line in a sense. But it's huge. And in cross country, it's great to see all the families show up and support at this event. I mean, you see on the infield and up in the grandstands where it's not quite as cold. There's plenty of support groups here for these runners.
I've talked to a lot of parents this weekend who tell me that, the sport of running is such a focused sport. And of course, teenage years it's the antithesis of focus. You're all over the map. And this sport really has helped put these kids in a proper channel. Alan, you're being a father, and congratulations for you and Shane, now expecting your third child. I mean, your son Cruz was playing on a ball team today.
Yeah, basketball, scored some points. I don't think it's a coincidence that a lot of these, we talk about grade point averages, and these kids are disciplined kids, and they're excelling not just here on the cross country course, but in the classroom. And it's just a quality bunch of kids, and that's a testament to the kids and to the parents. And I commend all the parents for their support of them.
Rich, you just telling me earlier today that the Fairfax cross country was recently given a designation as an academic institute.
Right. Fairfax Cross Country has runners that actually attend Jefferson Science Tech in Fairfax, Virginia, and they were rated at USA Today in one poll that came out as the #1 academic school in the country in a story that came out to start the weekend. So once again, and those runners, Jefferson Science has a great tradition in the sport. You know, Fairfax Cross Country Club competing here this weekend showed very well here as well. But across the board, you actually have these athletes that are willing to sacrifice to train right. They have to also sacrifice to make sure those grades are kept up, you know, academically as well.
All right, great. Now let's talk to some California kids. Lawrence down with Dana Point.
Hey, I'm down here with New Hall Cross Country Club. They're from my hometown, Santa Clarita Valley, right?
Yeah.
All right. What about, anybody want to give me a little brief update on what happened last year?
Last year, the week before the race, we all got the flu. And so we came here and we were just deathly ill, and we didn't finish too well. We were 18th out of 20, but...
Hey, but this year you guys are all healthy, and I had dinner with them last night, and everybody seemed in good spirits, building Jenga towers out of water bottles and causing giggles to run across the dining room. It was pretty fun, and this is definitely an energetic group, but you guys also know how to balance having fun with getting the job done. So someone want to tell me a little bit about that?
We came in here knowing that people thought we were going to do bad, you know, because we're California, and you know you know, they don't know anything about snow, but we came out here and proved them wrong, so we're really excited.
Yeah, that's right. You guys definitely rose to the challenge. And were the conditions worse or what you expected?
Actually, we were really prepared for the weather. I think we psyched ourselves out more. We thought it was going to be way colder, and then we got up here and we're like sweating. And so we're like, yeah, this is good. So it worked out.
That's good. Well, you guys got a team cheer? Come on, let's put it together here.
Saugus on 3.
1, 2, 3, Saugus!
All right, that's some good team enthusiasm for you guys. Back to you, Tony.
Thanks, Lauren. They can spruce that cheer up a little bit later as they come back next year. We still don't know the results, but we're within about 1 minute of finding out both the boys and girls NTN champions for 2007. What are your thoughts if you've been through this whole process, Rich? You know, you're as close to this as anyone. Well, what are your thoughts on how successful this year's program's been?
Definitely, the one key change was the addition of the regionals, and that's been a big difference performance-wise throughout. Now, obviously, when we first got here at the start of the week, and we were hearing how the course was, conditions were actually very good. And then for the forecast, which had a few of us concerned, we didn't want it to be too fast of a course. And the way this course is, if it's not wet, if it's not muddy, it can really, there's a bit of a difficulty in separating the top teams. And the way it played out, it just worked out just fine, actually.
Alan, how would you race in a course like this? I mean, when you won in Boulder earlier this year, you came from behind, and it was tough conditions, and it was a rough course.
Yeah, you know, honestly, it's very similar to this. And for me, I think, you know, you hear these kids say, oh, I'm not typically a good mud runner. It's more of, are you a rhythm runner? It's more getting on a rhythm and sticking to that pace, not getting out over your head, because then the conditions will just accentuate that.
All right now, Chris is down with some kids from Hanover, New Hampshire.
All right, Tony. Got the Hanover Cross Country Club team here. I see a bunch of tears. I think you guys are just informed that you're in the top 4 teams. Are these happy tears for being informed of that, or sad tears that this race is over?
Definitely happy tears. Happy tears, definitely.
How'd you like the course conditions with the whoop-de-doos, the bales, the mud?
It was crazy. I saw it earlier today, and I was like, oh, it's not as muddy as yesterday. It's going to be really lame. And then when I got out there, like halfway through the race, I was like, is there one dry spot on this course? Like,
it's definitely a unique experience. Definitely.
Yeah. So you guys going to take this and, you know, build on it for the track season and, you know, come back next year and hopefully, you know, you're in the top 4, but hopefully even gets better?
5 seniors.
Okay.
So that's
well, that's part of the reason for the tears. Well, congratulations. You said you had some shout-outs to throw out?
Yeah. We want to say thank you to the boys team. Mom and Dad, and to our parents.
All right, Hanover boys team, hello, and I'll throw it back to you guys up in the dry stand up there.